The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer, Brian Haynes alongside. We are in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different off-season grades continuing here in the Sportsocracy, and it's time for the off-season review of
the San Francisco 49ers.
The San Francisco 49ers. They ended up getting one of the easiest schedules in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on what list you look at, they're somewhere in that 5 to 7 range of easiest schedules in the NFL. They did the one thing that I thought should be the key for their offseason, and that was focusing in on bringing back the pieces that you had, because the only reason that they weren't competing for a Super Bowl again last year was because of the rash of injuries, which is unpredictable, but I'm going to predict that that won't happen again.
I don't know. They've had a rash of injuries all the time, it seems like. Their running back situation is always up in the air. Mm-hmm. Jeff Wilson is already hurt in OTAs. I mean, it just started already. I know they drafted Trey Sermon. They did pick up Wayne Gallman as well from the Giants. Mm-hmm. It's still Kyle Shanahan offense, which basically says Barney Rubble could be at running back and get 1,000 yards if he's healthy enough.
Right.
But here's the thing. George Kittle always seems to be hurt. He's only played a full season a couple times. Mm-hmm. These injuries start to pile up. I think on defense, they're deep enough that they can afford a couple injuries, but not, Bosa and, Werner and everybody. Like, there's just no way.
Right.
The big pickup, I thought, in the offseason as far as, like, a free agency and stuff was Alex Mack. Okay. Solidified the offensive line a little bit for them. My concern a little bit is who's their number 3 receiver. Jalen Hurd is always hurt. They do have Mohamed Sanu, who's 950 years old. There is some talk that Juwan Jennings out of camp is starting to make a move. But and again, with their injuries, it seems like Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk were always hurt last year. Mm-hmm. But when they're on the field, they are 2 of the best weapons you can have on a football team.
There's no doubt about it. And the San Francisco 49ers say, you know what, let's I know we have a rash of injuries, but let's put ourselves in the conversation for Julio Jones. Which makes perfect sense to me.
Why would you make perfect sense?
I'm being facetious here. Because Julio Jones is the guy who's constantly questionable.
I know, but it would make sense just with this Kyle Shanahan,
of course,
tree or whatever you want to say, connection.
This would be no doubt a better team with Julio Jones. The problem is, I really don't think they need him.
No,
I don't think they need him this year.
I don't think it's that big of a need at all. I want them to figure out the quarterback situation. I do. I don't. There's a lot of talk around the league that Jimmy's going to be there, but like Jeremy Greene brought up, our own Jeremy Greene said that if the 49ers want to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, they would save $25 million if he's not on the opening day roster. Mm-hmm. That is a lot of money to give to Nick Bosa or Fred Warner or all those guys that are coming up with their contracts. And so it would make it, is it going to be this thing to where we're waiting for Jimmy Garoppolo to throw a couple interceptions in the game to put Trey Lance in? Those kind of situations, when you draft a quarterback number 3 overall, you expect that guy to be playing. And I just don't know if that's going to cause this stir of, every single week, who's the quarterback going to be? What's going to happen? And that could just be a distraction. So I could see a path to where they say, you know what, I think it's going to matter what they see out of Trey Lance in the next couple months.
Right.
I think if they see that Trey Lance can run this offense well enough, I think they're going to be getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think that Jimmy's going to be on this team if they think that Trey Lance can go ahead and start week 1. Because, the money alone is a reason to get rid of him.
It's a $25 million gamble that you're taking. Will Jimmy Garoppolo be healthy? You don't know that. And actually, history would tell you he's not going to be healthy. Mm-hmm. He played 6 games last year before the latest injury knocked him out of the season. Yep. He's been there 4 years. Do you know how many games he has actually played in those 4 years?
22?
It's 30.
30, yeah.
30 games in 4 years.
Yeah, and it's
And when he's on the field, they're good. They're real damn good.
And I will say,
it's not necessarily because of Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not this big superstar quarterback. No. He's a really good game manager, though. And he's a guy that can get his weapons the ball, get them in the right spot. I think he does fit the Kyle Shanahan offense.
He does.
And I'm not turning that over to a rookie.
It was only 2 seasons ago that he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl for 3 quarters. And so it's tough because if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have injury concerns, I don't even know if they even make the move they did to make the trade to get up to number 3 to draft Trey Lance.
Oh, they would.
But, well, I don't know. If he wasn't hurt last year and they went to the playoffs again, you think they would do the same thing?
No. I mean, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
You know, if he was healthy, but he just can't stay healthy, I would hate for them just to have to drop him because they probably could have gotten somebody for him. But I understand the patience of waiting because Trey Lance is a little bit of unknown. He's got a very, very high ceiling, but is he NFL ready right away week 1?
No.
That remains to be seen.
No.
So
I'm going to say no. Trey Lance is a guy that I'm just not going to believe in until I see it on the field. And, I have to trust the process with the San Francisco 49ers. They got a lot of smart dudes that are calling the shots there. If they think he's ready, then I'll go along. But me just looking at it, this is a guy who had 17 starts in college and played at the FCS level. I'm not convinced that he's ready to take over an NFL franchise.
Right.
I get that you want to, the saving money thing is almost a no-brainer.
That's just so much
But on the other
money.
side of it, but you look at the difference between Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. Some don't think it's a very marked difference. I tend to think that it is. When Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy and he's on the field, they win way more than they lose. His quarterback record is like 22-8 in those 30 games. So when he's there, and it's good. Is that a $25 million gamble that you're willing to take? That you pay him the $25 million? He is there. He is, this is a Super Bowl contending team again. Because I'm just not trusting. I think this is a team that is on the verge of another trip to the Super Bowl, and I'm not trusting that to a rookie quarterback.
You will know what they think of Trey Lance in a couple months here, I think. And they'll make that move with Jimmy. Looking at this, Trey Sermon is a rookie contributor. I was a little surprised they picked Trey Sermon over Michael Carter out of UNC, which was good for Jeremy because they ended up with the Jets. But we were talking about how he probably was the best zone running back in the draft, actually. So, and I absolutely love Deebo Samuel. I would want him on every one of my fantasy teams. He's just so scary because he gets hurt all the time. And it's weird because he's built like a brick shit house. It's not like, he's a tiny little thing like a Devontae Smith or anything. He's got some size to him, but he's always hurt and he needs to stay healthy. And of course, if George Kittle's healthy, he's one of the top 2 tight ends.
Oh, he's the number 1, and you're going to have to overpay for him in fantasy. It's not. There's no debate about that. I mean, Travis Kelce is a guy that has been and will be drafted in first rounds, which is dumb to me. You don't do that. But he is no doubt going to be the number 1 guy there. He's the guy that you can count on to be there every game, and they're going to be in games because of him.
And of course, if you look across what we said, every one of us have them in the playoffs. Every one of us have them with, I think Tommy was the lowest on them at 10-7.
Yep.
Listen, this division's tough. They're going to be beating each other up.
The division is tough, but their schedule is not.
Exactly. So it's going to be.
There are quick knee-jerk reaction, 10 easy wins. Easy wins in the NFL.
Yeah, it's not easy to win in the NFL.
Right, exactly. But I mean, there are 10 games on there that you go, there's no doubt in your mind that if everybody's healthy, San Francisco is going to win those games. Now it comes down to the games within the division with the Rams, with the Cardinals. Those are going to be their chief opponents this year running for the top of the division. And it would not surprise me to see the San Francisco 49ers with the easy schedule. You pull out a couple of gritty wins, not only in your division, but there are also some decent opponents on their schedule. They got to play the Packers. I think the Colts are on the schedule as well. It's just if they can gut out 12, 13 wins, they can win this division.
Yeah, they can. And I think all of us were making those picks based on the assumption that it didn't matter what quarterback was in there, whether it be Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance. I think we all kind of knew that there's a possibility that both of them are going to be starting some point this year, whether it be, that again, we were making the assumption that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be on the team. He might not, and it might be just Trey Lance.
He may not be.
And honestly, I think this offense is an offense that can sustain itself as long as you have somebody that can run the offense well. It's not like without their injuries, the year before when Jimmy was hurt and they had C.J. Beathard going in and all those guys, they were winning games still because they still had all the healthy defense. So it's one of those situations where a system can lead to just about anybody that is well enough to play quarterback in that system. I'm not saying you put Nate Sudfeld in there, he's going to be any good, or Josh Rosen.
I think if they are legitimately in the Julio Jones chase, Jimmy Garoppolo is not the quarterback of this team. I think they will make a move. They will cut Jimmy Garoppolo, save the money, use that money on Julio Jones because he's going to cost you $15 million this year. I think it's $11 million the next 2 years.
That would be a huge mistake because they need to have money for those other guys in the next couple of years. They do.
Okay, well, to me, it's two choices. You either go after Julio Jones and get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. That way you have another elite talent for the rookie to throw to, Trey Lance, or Jimmy Garoppolo's your starter.
Yeah.
I want it one way or the other.
And I do.
Either you ride with Jimmy Garoppolo, or if you're going to cut Jimmy Garoppolo, then you got to go get another weapon.
And that's what I want to know. That's the one thing that bothers me a little bit about San Francisco. Is it going to be this QB controversy throughout the whole year? Are they going to be making this decision? Or let's say they do get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, and let's say Trey Lance goes out there and he doesn't play well, then it's going to be, why did you get rid of Garoppolo? There's just going to be a lot of narrative surrounding this position that could lead to just unwanted, news and unwanted stuff that always goes on in NFL.
Well, this is the gamble you take when you already have an established starter and you go out and get a rookie quarterback.
When you trade your future, when you trade a lot of your future for the quarterback as well.
Right. Is this a Green Bay situation? No, to me it's a completely different situation, but you do invite that same kind of narrative. Philadelphia was the same way when they decided to go with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
You're inviting that controversy. If $25 million and the controversy is not worth it for you, then you're going to ditch Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yep.
Like I said, you all know me, Tampa Bay homer. Fire them cannons. I'm gonna ride with John Lynch on whatever decision that he makes. Trust him fully.
Can't even get through a 49ers video without having to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Look, just because Tampa Bay is so awesome that they have infected every other team with their greatness, it's not my problem.
Oh, Lord, give me the strength.
All in all, the San Francisco 49ers, they are a Super Bowl threat. Do you have the standings?
You had them
graphic over there?
You had them at 14-3.
14-3.
I had them 13-4, as did Jeremy. Caleb had them at 14-3 as well, and then Tommy had them at 10-7, which I think is a little low.
10-7 is the baseline. 10-7 is where you start with this team.
I would say probably more like 11-6 is the baseline. I feel like 11 wins is the least that they're going to be able to get this year.
11 wins is the least?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think I think their over-under is 9.5, isn't it?
It's 10.
Is it actually 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I would probably go over, but, that's barring injuries like last year.
Exactly.
Like, good grief.
You just never know in the world of the NFL how you're going to be screwed by the fickle finger of fate, basically. That was the San Francisco 49ers of 2020. Now, the San Francisco 49ers of 2021, if they can stay healthy with the additions that they made in the offseason with Alex Mack, I thought that they had a pretty decent draft. I wasn't really wowed by anything that they did. The Trey Lance pick obviously was the highlight of it all. Trey Sermon, he's going to get his run. Raheem Mostert's going to be the go-to back. But Trey Sermon's also going to get his chances because we're already finding out, as he said, Jeff Wilson Jr., he busted up his knee. And he wasn't even doing anything to do it. That was the bad part about it. Did you read that story? Like he tweaked it. He tweaked the knee in practice, and then 2 days later he was lifting weights and then walking away from the weight room. It just popped. And
if you have those non-contact knee injuries, are the absolute worst because something bad happened for sure.
He tore his meniscus. He had to have surgery the absolute next day. And he's going to be out 4 to 6 months. He's going to start out on the PUP list.
Yep.
It's not looking good so far. San Francisco already starting with a non-contact football injury. Not a great sign for 2021, but let's hope that they can stay healthy and be a Super Bowl contender. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Brian Haynes. Be sure to hit that subscribe button here in the Sportsocracy. Get all of our off-season review videos for all of the teams, including
the San Francisco 49ers.
We will continue to roll out the content here over the offseason. Hit the subscribe button. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/thesportsocracy. We are always in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. We'll see you next time.